Hello, it's Claire from Angelic Scalliwags. Today I'm going to show you how to make Halaf culture signature seals. First of all, we're going to mark the Halaf culture on our paper mache map. The Halaf culture was found to exist up in Syria between the Euphrates River and the Tigris River, fairly close to Göbekli Tepe, as you can see. I'm just sticking the three main settlements that have been found there, and actually I'm moving one because I got it a little wrong. What you'll need is clay tools and the picture of the seals. I'm going to cut off a slab as normal, and I'm just cutting it into a sort of pyramidal shape. And then I found that the pyramid shape was a little bit too small, so I wanted to make it a bit bigger, so I cut a square out and I just added it onto the bottom, which gave a much better shape for a seal, a stamp seal. And these are some of the earliest stamp seals that have been found and that are known to exist. The Halaf signature seals were mainly geometric, so what I'm doing here is I'm copying from the picture and I'm doing some diagonal indentations into the stamp. And if you look at the picture, these diagonal indentations are the indentations that are sort of at the back of the stamp, and now I'm going to add the more forward markings, so I'm kind of building onto it. So I'm making some very thin strips and just rolling them out with my finger. Then I'm adding that down the side, just pressing it in gently with the tool, and then cutting off the excess at the end, and then smoothing it down with the wooden tool so that it's fairly seamless. And just redoing that process all over again for each of the lines. So rolling them, pressing them down gently, taking off the excess at the end and then smoothing it down. I've now just speeded it up a little bit. I just wanted to show you exactly how I was doing that. Now I'm doing the third layer over the top, which is just making the pattern a bit more intricate. And I'm doing it exactly the same way as I did the second layer. And here I am. So the cylinder seals, sorry, these aren't cylinder seals, the stamp seals had like little areas where your thumbs and finger went to push it down. So I've just made those. I'm going on to the second one, which is a round one. These round ones are much more simple. I'm just forming it into a nice round shape with handle as well, and I'm just marking out the pattern now, which is a very simple 5 holes with some geometric lines. You need to make sure that you're pressing in hard enough that when it dries and you press it into wet clay, it's going to make a nice pattern. It's going to transfer that pattern. I'm making another round one now, and I've made the little handle where the thumb and finger go in, and I've actually pushed it all the way through this time. And I'm now carving out a star shape. And then adding the little holes all the way around. And just putting some finishing touches to it. I'm adding a bit more clay in just to make sure that the print will come out as clearly as possible. And my final one is a slightly larger rectangular one. And I'm doing the same as I did with the first one, which is to create a pyramid. This time I've made it a bit bigger. And I'm just smoothing it all over to get a good base. And give me a good starting shape. And I'm doing as I did before, just carving out the lowest geometric pattern. And we'll be adding to that. I'm going over it because the one at the back is the one that's most likely to get lost. So I'm going over it so that there really is, that the lines are deep trenches. And now making the extra little bits for the next layer and doing exactly the same thing as I did before. Rolling them, pressing them, taking off the excess and just building up the picture. If you're doing these from different pictures or you're trying to replicate different seals, you always want to look at what the lowest layer is and create that one first, and then build on top of that to create each layer going upwards, rather than trying to figure out how to create the image right all in one kind of carving. This works much, much better. And again, I'm just adding the thumb and finger hole there to make it easier. So I left these overnight to dry, and I'm using a contrasting coloured clay just so that you can see the print really, really well. Dividing it out into 4, and I'm rolling it a bit thinner just to make sure that the seal fits, that the stamp fits onto the seal. And there I'm making the seal imprint. So the Halaf culture used these to sign people's names, to show ownership of goods, and each person would have had a different geometric pattern, but they did all tend to be geometric. Although there is one hedgehog shaped one which is kind of cool, but even that had a geometric pattern over it. I thought in showing you how to do these I'd choose the simpler ones. So you can see they've been really effective. Really, I was really pleased with how they turned out. And there's all 4 of them together with their seals. And I've just done, as I always do, a close-up so you can see them. I've also created a museum label so that if you wanted to create a museum of artefacts for your end of unit presentation, then there's a printout for you. And there you go, aren't they great? Really pleased with those. If you enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe so you don't miss any more videos. And next week we're going to stay with the Halaf culture and create some of their pottery. See you next week. Bye bye.